Hi, my name is Andrea Griffin, and I'm going to talk about Wolfram Tech in online courses that are LTI compatible like edX, Coursera, and Moodle.
My name is Keane. I will talk briefly. I heard a little bit of feedback there. I will talk briefly to give a big picture of what we've been doing. And then Andrea Griffin is my colleague at MIT. She's a research engineer who's been building out tooling to help connect Wolfram language and Wolfram language cloud objects into online courses in a way that allows them to inject grades back into the online course. So this has been kind of a big stopping point for a lot of people who want to use Wolfram in online courses, but they need to use the gradebook that's provided by the software. So now we've solved that problem, at least for ourselves at MIT with edX's platform, and it should be transferable to anybody else. Yeah, so that's, I think, my big picture, and I'm gonna hand it off to Andrea, and I'll be back in 30 minutes to talk about other stuff.
Yeah, so thanks, Kyle. So I'm basically going to walk through the package that we made that just interacts with learning tools interoperability, which I can never say right the first time, which gives a bunch of functionality to things that you might be looking for when you have online courses, and then eventually be able to send grades to the platform. So Kyle and I have been working with 2 different courses at MIT. One is called Launching Innovation in Schools, and the other is the MIT 801X Mechanics, Kinematics, and Dynamics courses. They asked for a few different projects in both of those courses, so I'm going to walk through each of the projects, and by walking through each of the projects, I'll walk through some of the functions that I've been using for the projects that you can find in the package. The package is open, so I'll also show how you guys can tap into it. It's obviously still in development, so have a little bit of flexibility with it, but it's working and good, and we're liking it. So my first example here is basically imagine something that you want to just show up in the online course. You don't want it to also show up in just on the web. So this is an example online course here that I have this text here that's very small on the screen, but it says this will only be seen within the course, and it's very true. So if I go to that link outside of the course, it gives me this failure message that says, sorry, you're not in the course, you're not a part of the course, you shouldn't see this thing. And so, yeah, so we're able to now just show things as long as you are authenticated within the course. And I do that just by using this function called LTI verify request. And so you're seeing this, it's just a cloud object, a delayed cloud object, where we get this LTI package and verify that they are within the course. And if they are, then they move on and see this, the rest of the cloud object. So you can imagine in your course, maybe you want to take a poll of the students there and you don't want students from outside the course to interact with this poll. So you can set this up in that same way where you have LTI verify request, and then you have some form function as your cloud object, and you have a data bin, you submit that information to a data bin, make a bar chart. And so within the course, should have this started somewhere else. Within the course, you can have this poll that just shows what's your favorite flavor of ice cream, and you can pick your favorite flavor, submit it, and see a bar chart of all the other students' submissions. And because of the way that learning tools interoperability works, we have to pass some information from we have to pass some information as we go along through the process. And when you hit submit on a form, it brings you to a second page. So that's one thing that we cracked, is making sure that we pass all that information to the following pages that come along. So you can just use LTI launch form. So this is a second cloud object that comes before, and we just use LTI launch form to make sure that the form is going to pass all the data that needs to be passed through. Okay, so on to the real projects that we were working on. So this Launching Innovations in Schools course is on edX. The teacher there asked that we make an artifact generator. They wanted the students to, at the beginning of the course, make a course plan. So they wanted them to reflect on when they would work on the course, what their goals are, stuff like that before the course started. So we made them this artifact generator. Let me zoom in a little here. This artifact generator where they can type in a bunch of information, they can pick their goals, they can add another goal, they can say who they want to share the course with, they pick some time that they would be working on the course and add some goals. And they can also add an image, and then they fill out the form, and it makes a nice little PDF for them to then like maybe post near their desk where they're going to work or something like that. And one of the great things about how this works is now if I refresh this page, I can go back and get all of the information that I had before already saved in the form, and I can go back and hit submit and change the information that I already had. And we did all of that without making them sign into the Wolfram Cloud because they've already signed into the course, and we can get that information through the interoperability functionality. So the way that we do that is that there's a function in the package that we've called get user ID. So basically, I get the hash version of their authentication to the course, and I can identify them within the course using the user ID, and I store their information, like all of the things that they put into the form, into a cloud object that is found given their user ID. So sitting on my cloud right now, there are these folders with hash user IDs, and within each of these I have the info that they submitted into the form and their picture. And then when I want them to return back to the form, I just say, do they have any info that they've already submitted? And if they don't put anything in the fields, and if they do, put it in the fields. So we can collect all the information that they've done before and show it again. So then this brings me to the next project that the Launching Innovation in Schools teacher asked us to work on, was to make a gallery. They have their students submit, they have them think about what a powerful learning environment might be, and create an image that represents what a powerful learning environment is, and then submit the image. And the teacher wanted them all to be able to see all of the images in one place, and interact with and talk about them in a separate discussion forum. But then they also had other reasons for having students submit images and then see them all in one collected place. So this is a tool that they wanted in multiple places within their course. So rather than making them totally different cloud objects for every submission, what I did was we came up with a function called resource link ID. So again, within LTI, the system knows where in the course you are. So every object in the course has an identifier, and so we use that identifier to come up with to show a different object, and it will submit information to a different place. So just like with the user ID, I then submit all the information that they put into the form. I give it the resource link ID as one of the objects in the path, and then it knows exactly where the information is coming from, if it is this object within the course, or if it is this object, or it's a different one in a totally different place. So sitting on my cloud, again, I have these resource link ID folders that then point to data and a separate gallery for just that instance of the gallery. And then within the data is the same thing as we saw before, where there's a bunch of folders with the user IDs, and inside that there's information and pictures. Now we got to a point in the discussion with this teacher that we were concerned about students posting something, quote, bad And we wanted the teacher to be able to delete posts. So this is an example of what the gallery looks like to the students once they've submitted something to the gallery. And this is actually live. It went live on Monday, so I was happy to see that there's some there. But then the teacher, when they come to the course in the same place where the student would see the gallery, the teacher sees this, which I'm sure is, and so they get to see all of the submissions, but then there's a small little delete button here. And the way that we're able to do that is we can switch between a staff and learner view. So again, through the LTI functionality, we know what role they are. And so I can say, give me the teacher's role. If they are an administrator or an instructor, show the administrative view. And if they are a student, then send them to either the form or the gallery if they have or haven't submitted yet. So you can see here, this is what the learner sees. It goes straight to the form. And this is what the staff sees, where they have the ability to delete a post if they see something that they don't want to see. Okay, so then in this mechanics and kinematics and dynamics course, we've basically started to interject a bunch of Wolfram functionality into this course. You can see here we've injected a manipulate. We've actually started to teach the course how to use coding within the course. Kyle, I think, is going to talk about that more. It's a part of a bigger research study at MIT that's now possible because of some of the functionality here. What we have done here is we've given the students a problem, and then we have a form down here where they submit their answer. And if they are able to submit, so they submit an answer, and because of this function called send grade, we just use this one quick little thing here with what their grade should be from 0 to 1. And then we've also passed along some keys, and it will grade their work and then also submit their grade to the course. So I'll try this again, and I'll actually try to get it correct. So I'll get one right. How about that? And so this should send 50% to the course, and I should get my 5 points if I refresh the page. And so just by adding this one little line here, we've added sending grades straight to the course, as long as you have the package uploaded as well. Okay, so, and then the next thing we noticed was within this course, as they're doing their problems, they're gonna ask us questions. And so they need to be able to send us questions. So we added a discussion section where they can submit a question or something like that. Actually, last night someone submitted the answer, so I had to run in and delete it. You can see the rules are coming up here, where I have the opportunity to delete, and the student has an opportunity to delete their own post if they need to. And so when a student submits a post, it sends an email to Kyle and I, and it also includes their email in the email to us so that we can respond back to them directly if we need to. So again, we get their email through this LTI functionality in this function called get email, and then we're able to respond back to them just through their email instead of coming back to the discussion post if it's something that doesn't need to be shared with the rest of the group. So our bonus project that we're working on is a research study that will be on talking about what we're doing with some of these interactions in the 801X course, where we're injecting some coding and basically trying coding and computation using visualizations to determine if adding these things into the course is in fact helpful or not to the learning of the students and how it changes their learning. And we're able to do that with some of this LTI functionality On the online courses now, we were able to cohort the students and use their user IDs to feed them different ways of instructing them on these things. So that's about as much as I have. I'm open for questions.